What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am Chris. This is Watch Chris. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell icon, and of course, liking this video if you find it useful or helpful. Today, we're taking a look at a watch that's inspired by a number of different dive watches from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. You could see inspiration from multiple different iconic dive watches within this one watch. It's a Microbrand diver. It's powered by a Miyota 9000 series. It has an extra hard coating. It's a really good looking vintage inspired watch that's not really a crazy design that's gonna blow your socks off. It's very straightforward, but very good looking, and of course, very functional with 300 meters of water resistance. So let's flip the camera. Let's take a look at Belhamel and the Contra A39. So here it is. This is the Belhamel Contra 39. It's 39 because it is a 39 millimeter watch, and it is a very straightforward looking dive watch. This gets a lot of elements from some famous dive watches from the 1950s, 60s, and maybe even the 70s. I would say you see a little bit of Rolex in here. You see a little bit of 62 Mas. There's a few other brands that I could probably mention that you would see a little bit of a similarity between this watch and that. And obviously, it's inspired by those watches. They even say it on their website, so it's really no surprise. This is an automatic movement. It's powered by a Miyota 9039, so that means it's a true no date. The Miyota 9039, a pretty thin movement from Miyota. It is one of their higher end movements, and of course, that means you're getting a pretty thin watch. Take a look at that. It's actually very thin considering you are getting 300 meters of water resistance. So technically, I guess they call this a skin diver, but with 300 meters of water resistance, technically not a skin diver. This gets a black dial. I think currently they make it in black or blue. It is a matte black dial with applied indices. You have a white minute track, and then you have these large hands that are sort of like sword hands, sort of like fence post hands. Those are filled with lume. There is a second hand with an arrow on it. That arrow has a little bit of color, just a little bit of pop, and it is also lumed. The indices are kind of stick indices. However, you have a triangle at the 12 o'clock. And then, of course, the bezel. The bezel has a steel insert, so this is a stainless steel bezel, and there, again, is that same color at the triangle right at the top where the pip is. That's in that orange color to match that second hand. You have a pretty straightforward flat link bracelet on here, really nice chamfered edges. It feels very nice. It's a very nicely made bracelet. For some reason, they provided a clasp that has manual micro adjust, but they also provided in the same box one with on the fly micro adjust. So this is a double push button on the fly micro adjustable clasp. So you could see that on the bottom side, it has that little tab. You pull that tab and you just slide the bracelet in and out. It gives you about 5 millimeters, I would say, of micro adjust. So it looks exactly the same. Otherwise, you have a chamfered edge, a nice polished edge along the side, and then it has the brand name across the top, which looks good. Primarily a brushed watch, but there are polished edges along the bracelet and along the case. The case, again, kind of reminds me of what you would get from a 62 Mas. You have a really nice thick line of polish on the top. On the bottom of the case, you don't get that line of polish, but it looks really good and it's finished very nicely. Case back just has two little waves on it. It's a screwed in case back. Obviously, it is also solid, so you don't see the movement, and you do get quick release, no drilled lugs. This does not get screwed links, so I would say that's my first complaint about this watch. Unfortunately, they decided not to put screwed links. I think at this price point, and we'll talk about price in just a few minutes, I think you probably should have screwed links. You do get a screwed in crown, of course. That crown is signed. It's around a 5.8 millimeter crown. The watch itself is around 11.5 millimeters thick. That's including the sapphire crystal, which gets AR coating, by the way, and you have about a 47 0.7 millimeter lug to lug. This is a 39 millimeter spot on watch, so this will wear like a 39 millimeter watch. Also, you do get female end links, so obviously the bracelet folds down perfectly, and this will wear pretty well on most wrists, depending on the size of your wrist, of course, but I would imagine for most wrists. This is a very simple dial, very straightforward dial as well. It just has the brand name right below the 12 o'clock, and then right above the 6 o'clock, it just says Contra 39 or A39, something like that, and then 300 meters. And that's in a little bit of a bluish color, but it's really hard to tell unless you get really up close to actually look at it. The bezel action is pretty good on this watch. Let's listen. I think it has the right tension. It feels really good. It does line up perfectly. The only thing I would say, it's not very audible. So it could be a little bit tighter maybe, so it's a little bit more audible and the clicks are a little bit more pronounced. Other than that, I don't think it's bad bezel action. I don't think it's too loose, and I don't think it'll move on you if you are actually using this for diving. So I think it's safe. I think it looks good. On my wrist today, I have my James brand collaboration with Timex. This is the Grade 5 titanium GMT that they came out with earlier in the year. I absolutely love this watch. Very, very cool. And this was around $800 or $900. They are coming out with another version of this watch. I'm very excited to see what they come out with. And there is the Contra sized up for my 7.5 inch wrist. You can see it looks like a really good looking, straightforward, vintage inspired dive watch. It's thin. It has 300 meters of water resistance. It has that stainless steel bezel. You have to like that look. But all in all, it's a very good looking watch with very good functionality. And also this does get a extra hard coating. So it's in stainless steel with an extra hard coating. So it will be extra scratch resistant. That's also very good. You have those female end links. This will wear comfortably on most wrists. I don't know if it comes with this clasp and the micro adjustable clasp, but it did come with both in the package that I received. However, I would imagine they're only going to be shipping with that micro adjustable clasp. I'm pretty sure, but if I'm wrong, I'll add something down in the comments below. Price on this is $535. However, they do offer 10% off if you sign up for their newsletter. So this comes under $500. So I would say this is slightly more expensive for a watch that's powered by a Miyota 9039, but it's not out of the ballpark because you are getting that extra hard coating and the on-the-fly micro adjust. There are a few small issues, I would say. Of course, the screwed links, so you don't have screwed links on here. I would like to see drilled lugs on a tool watch like this, but that's not that big of a deal. And the crown, I found the crown a little bit scratchy when I was unscrewing it and screwing it in, so maybe a little bit of a refinement there. But other than that, the watch feels like a really nice watch. The quality is there. It definitely is a good looking watch. And if you want something that's, you know, not outlandish, all these watch companies are coming out with crazy things these days. This is a straightforward dive watch that I think works really well. Well, there's the lume. It's pretty good on the hands and indices. I wish there was a little bit more lume on the bezel because there is only that pip and the pip isn't all that bright. But if there was a little bit more lume, I think that would be really cool. A lot of watches offering a lot of lume these days, so it would be great if they offered a little bit more lume on the bezel. But other than that, I think the indices are very liberally applied. The hands are liberally applied. And I like to see that there is lume in that second hand so that I could see that it's working in the dark. Under $500 for this watch. I think that's really good. You're getting 300 meters of water resistance, the Miyota 9039, which is a movement that I love. There is that extra hard coating as well, which of course adds to the price. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this watch? What do you think of the style of this watch? Am I right? Does it look like a 62 Moss and maybe a vintage Rolex had a baby, and maybe even a few other watches from the 1960s, 50s, 70s had a baby, and here's what you get. I think this is kind of what they were going for. Iconic dive watches. taking all that inspiration and putting it into one watch. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. I'll put a link to Belhamel down in the description below. If you are interested in them, definitely click that link and check them out. And don't forget to sign up with the newsletter if you do end up buying one to get that extra 10% off. Anyway, guys, I will catch you in the next video.